Hello, this is Cody.
And this is Charlie.
And here we are, about to review for you Woody Allen's new film, Midnight in Paris. It's a great movie. I have not been a Woody Allen fan for quite some time, but we went to see this film at the Landmark Cinema in Bethesda over the weekend, and I loved it. It's what you would call charming. Now, charming is a word that's gone out of favor and out of use, but this film is actually charming. It's a comedy for adults. It doesn't assume you're an idiot. It isn't made up of scatological references to bodily fluids and functions. It's actually a comedy that grows out of character and situation and assumes that its audience is a group of intelligent people with some background and some knowledge outside of what comes out of the orifices of their body. It's quite a charming movie that we both enjoyed very much, didn't we?
I loved it, actually. I thought the movie took what could be called an old gimmick that is used often, I would say. Not in all movies, but often, to entice a certain type of audience, but I thought that this movie used that gimmick in a not so gimmicky way to use it very intelligently in a new fashion and new style that was refreshing in a way.
The movie tells the story of an author who's trying to finish a novel. He's a Hollywood screenwriter, and he's vacationing in Paris with his fiancée. This role is played by Owen Wilson as Jill.
As Jill.
Or Gil, if you're American, but Jill when he meets French people. And his relationship with his fiancée is not a healthy one.
It's not good.
It's not good.
And Rachel McAdams really does a good job, I felt like.
Well,
playing the part that she was given. Whether or not the character was fully developed or a good character,
which is the issue debatable in Woody Allen films. Woody Allen is misogynistic. He doesn't really have what I would call a developed sense of the inner lives of women, and so most of his female characters are either harridans and harlots or Madonnas and mother types, or perfect.
Right.
And so he doesn't really have any fully developed, what I would say, female characters. They're always more props than characters. That aside, this film was beautifully done. The author ends up wandering the streets of Paris at midnight, and an antique car comes by, and they invite him in. He gets in the car and finds himself in a car with Scott and Zelda Fitzgerald, and he's transported back to the 1920s, which is the gimmick Cody was talking about.
Time travel.
But it's really not a part of the movie. It's more about a sort of consciousness. But he meets Hemingway and Gertrude Stein, Alice Toklas, Picasso. It's a great way to get new and intellectual ideas into the thing, and the message of the movie is about how we all dream of a better life, a life that's more, and often envision it as being somewhere else, some other time, some other place than where we are, and this character's journey to discovering that the life he has might, after all, be the life that he wants if he just develops it and finishes that novel, which personally struck a chord with me because he's been trying to finish this novel for years and won't show it to anyone, which sounded really vaguely familiar to me.
Really?
It did.
I don't know who it could sound like.
I don't know. We know someone like that. The cinematography, too, was beautiful. When in the time travel sequences, well, Paris itself was beautiful in the present day sequences, but when he went to the 20s, the scenes were suffused with this kind of ephemeral gold lighting. It was so warm, and so it took you to a different time and really communicated that his heart was actually beating with more vigor and more strongly. His blood flowed more, his creativity flowed more when he was around others who affirmed him and affirmed what it was he wanted to do. It was really beautifully done and laugh out loud funny.
We give Midnight in Paris by Woody Allen 4.25 out of 5. I'm Cody.
I'm Charlie. Here we are, going.